Hello and welcome to Class 12 Sociology online video lectures. Dear children, today we will continue with the topic which is problems faced by the tribals of India. In today's session, we will look at how to answer certain ISC questions like discuss the economic problems of the tribals or discuss the socio-economic problems of the tribals. Before this also, in my previous lectures, I have already explained to you how to go about writing long answers, especially which involves discussing the problems of the tribals. So, let us first start with, if you get a question like discuss the socio-economic problems of the tribals, the question itself carries 5 marks. It will come in the long answer section, and any question which carries 5 marks, alright, sometimes you must know how to answer the questions also. The keyword in the question is what? To discuss the socio-economic problems. This is the word socio-economic problems. So what are the social problems and what are the economic problems? Now please look over here. This is a mixed bag. It is a mixture of social and economic problems. So you can explain or discuss any social problem. For example, you can talk about illiteracy, alright. In the social problem, you can talk about housing problem, something that is easier for you to remember. Or you can talk about problems like, I'm going to write here, okay, land alienation. This is another problem, okay. Coming to the economic problem, very easy ones. Poverty, you can discuss this one. You can discuss unemployment. You can discuss the problem of bonded labor. Okay, so you can pick and choose problems of your choice, but please make sure that you do not overshoot or you do not write all the problems here, because time management is also very, very important. So make sure you discuss at least 5 problems. You discuss at least 5 problems. Now when you are discussing these 5 problems, how or what are the points that you are going to write? First, let me just mention here 3 things. In short, alright, you can write down the meaning of the problem and give the causes. Then, in about 3-4 lines, you can write the consequences or results. Consequences or results. And in the 3rd line, you can write down the measures. Measures meaning solutions. Measures or solutions which are given to solve the problem. So therefore, in any problem that you are discussing, 3 things have to be there. One is the meaning and causes. Second one is the consequences or results. Third one is measures or solutions will have to be mentioned. So let's today look at the first socio-economic problem. We will start with the problem of illiteracy. Now you all know what is illiteracy, right? Illiteracy is often explained as if an individual does not even know how to write his or her name. Now we can't, possibly we always say that a person who has never gone to school is illiterate, but that is not so. If there is a person who does not know how to write his or her name, that individual will be considered as illiterate. Now the tribal people, whenever we discuss tribal people, think of people living in the interiors of the forest, living in mountainous regions, living in the islands. They are the ones who are facing this social problem of illiteracy. And there are various reasons behind it, reasons why they have not gone to school, reasons why they do not send their children to school. And if you look at the causes and factors, you will find that there is a cyclical relation to it, meaning that one problem is related to the other. For example, if I write here, all right, the problem of illiteracy, one of the factors or causes for the problem of illiteracy is poverty. Now, we all know what is poverty, all right? The tribal people, they are the ones who find it very difficult to even manage 1 square meal a day. And they are the ones who are right now being burdened by the debts, the credits that they have taken from money lenders. Most of them are landless, they have lost their land, all right, owing to which they have turned into poor people, or most of them live below the poverty line. And if they have children also, if those families have children also, they are the ones who would rather send the children to work than send the children to schools. So therefore, illiteracy, one of the factors behind illiteracy is this problem of poverty. They are so poor that they would rather send their children as child laborers to work in somebody else's houses, or they would sell their children rather than send the children to school, and therefore this has given rise to the problem of illiteracy. Next thing that we see here is the problem of, okay, the tribal is that we do have schools. We might have schools, government schools might be there, primary schools might be there, but those schools are not tribal schools. And the tribals, they have their own dialects. We have discussed this. They have their own dialects. They have their own, script also. Most of these tribal people do not understand the medium of instruction, which is either Hindi or English or any of the vernacular languages. In this manner, it becomes difficult for them to attend those schools which are teaching them either in Hindi or any of the vernacular languages or in English. So, the absence of tribal schools is another reason for the growth of illiteracy in these particular areas. Next, we also see that there are people who are less aware. Schools are there, right? But they don't want to send their children to the schools because they feel that it is a waste of time. Attending school from 8 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon is a waste of time. I would rather teach my child to work in the field, or I would rather keep my girls at home and teach them how to cook. This kind of, you can say, mindset that they have has also resulted in this problem of illiteracy. Unemployment is again another reason. Most of the parents, they are unemployed, they are at home, they don't have any earning, and that is why they want the children to earn, they want their children to work as child laborers, or they would rather sell their children, and this gives rise to the problem of illiteracy. What happens now? What happens if you have a section of the tribals who have never gone to school, who have never attended school? The consequence of this will be, number one, again, poverty. If you don't go to schools, if you're not educated, then you will not get employment. That means it will lead to what problem? Unemployment problem. And an unemployment problem will again lead to another problem. What is that? That is the problem of poverty. And the problem of poverty will again generate n number of problems. Like what? They could get into antisocial activities. right? A lot of them could be involved either in crimes, a lot of criminal activity. You could also have a lot of social evils coming up in the society like child labor, you could have prostitution, you could have beggary. These things are the consequences of illiteracy. Now, how will you solve this problem of illiteracy? If you have a problem, then we have to suggest measures also. The first measure is the right to education, which is a constitutional measure taken by the government. As for the right to education, any child from the age of 6 to 14 can receive free and compulsory education. This is a constitutional measure, a governmental measure, a legislation taken by the government which says that any child, right, from the age of 6 to 14 can, attend this free and compulsory school. A lot of primary schools have also come up by the government where you are given midday meals, free textbooks are offered, stipends are also given to the children. You don't have to pay any tuition fees, alright. These are some of the steps taken by the government to encourage education amongst the tribals. Next, scholarships. Any child who wishes to study further, somebody who is a bright student can also get scholarships not only in India but sometimes also abroad. So this is to encourage the tribal children also to study. Tribal schools should be opened up where the tribal teachers are there. They only give instructions in their local dialects. They are the ones who are going to train the children of their own villages. Such schools can also come up. Syllabus also, it has been seen here, the syllabus should also be devised in such a way that it appeals this section of the society. Most of the tribal people are not interested in learning about other cultures. They would rather be interested in learning about their own culture, their own folk dance, folk music, folklores, etc., languages. So therefore, the syllabus has to be devised in such a way that it appeals these tribal people. Textbooks should be given free, Then not only that, in order to encourage them to come, midday meals, free textbook, medical aid, stationaries, sports and games, these things should also be introduced in order to solve the problem of illiteracy among the tribals. So this is the first social problem that is faced by the tribals, and we have discussed the causes, the consequences and the measures. The next, you can write about the problem of housing, because most of the tribals in the jungles, they used to live in shacks. They used to live in houses made out of branches of trees and leaves, and most of them were nomadic in nature. That is why they used to keep wandering from one place to the other. This kind of lifestyle amongst the tribals, not to lead a settled life but to move from one place to the other, today has given rise to the problem of housing. Most of them have lost their lands taken by the government in order to construct railways, or for defense purpose, or for mining. And land alienation has given rise to the problem of housing. Now, how do you solve this problem of housing? A lot of schemes have come for the BPL categories also, especially for the tribal people. Housing schemes, Indira Awas Yojana has already come under the Prime Minister's leadership also. A lot of programs which involves construction of houses have also come for the tribals. Rehabilitation of tribal villages. If a dam is being constructed, then the whole village has to be rehabilitated. So housing schemes have come up, but the problem that most of them have faced is that once they are given proper houses, the tribals feel difficult to live in those kind of surroundings, because they are so used to living freely, wandering about in the jungles, they are engaged in agriculture, hunting, fishing practices, they cannot do so, they cannot practice these activities in the urban areas. So giving them buildings, housing schemes, houses has still not solved this particular problem, because most of them at the end of the day would want to return back to their own homes. So today we will just discuss two problems faced by the tribals. In the next class, we will learn more about the social and economic problems. Thank you for watching.